Spilling Ink is brought to you by Book Branders, your self-publishing concierge. Welcome to Grand Rapids Comic-Con. I am here with MarcyKate Connolly, our very first guest of the weekend. Very good to meet you, MarcyKate.
Nice to meet you too.
Yes, and you write middle grade fiction, is that right?
That is correct.
Okay, so I've always gotten a little confused about middle grade. What is middle grade? I mean, is it middle school? Is that what it's supposed to mean?
Sort of. It's middle grade. It's basically ages 8 to 14 or so, whereas YA, young adult, is like 12 to 14 and up. So it's those tween years, basically, and a little younger.
Okay, gotcha. And they're beautiful. The covers are absolutely gorgeous. We'll do a couple close-ups on the covers, but they're absolutely beautiful. And who is your publisher?
I have a couple publishers. This one's published by HarperCollins. The cover artist is Scotty Young, who's amazing. I was blessed by the cover gods, that's for sure. And this series is published, the Shadow Weaver series is published by Source Books, Jabberwocky. Different cover artists, but also fabulous. Zdenko Basic is the artist's name.
Oh, okay.
But they're lovely covers. They did such a great job. The nice, like, weird, creepy feel is kind of like my brand.
Yes.
Weird, creepy middle grade.
Well, and I'm actually going to be getting one of these for my youngest, who's 10. Is 10 years old enough to be reading these?
Perfect. That's the perfect age.
Awesome, because she's a 5th grader, and she loves creepy stories. And
there you go.
My middle child always lets her watch The Walking Dead and shows like that. I'm like, oh, Lord, come on. But so anyhow, she's creepy like the rest of the family. But,
nice.
Yeah, so that sounds very cool. And you said it's Source Jabberwocky?
Source Books Jabberwocky.
Source Books Jabberwocky. Okay, and I haven't heard of them before.
Source Books is the publisher, Jabberwocky is the line. So the imprint.
Okay, cool. And Shadow Weaver is the first in that series?
It is, yes. And the sequel, Comet Rising, is going to be out January 1st. So that's coming right up.
Can you tell us a little bit about Shadow Weaver?
Absolutely. Shadow Weaver is about a girl who can talk to her shadow, and the shadow can talk back. So it's very fun to write. She's a Shadow Weaver is her magic talent, so she can actually make things from shadows, as well as talk to her own shadow. So she has a fun little talent, and then she meets other people who have talents like light singing. They can control the light by singing, and magic eating, and other such fun things.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, that sounds super fun.
Very cool. And how old is your protagonist in this book?
She's 13.
Okay, awesome. Well, that's good. That's right in that middle school range. Okay. So 13, what is that? Is that 8th grade, 9th grade, somewhere in there? 7th. 7th?
Yeah,
okay.
7th, maybe 8th, depending on where you fall.
Okay. I should know. I've got 4 kids, but I can hardly keep track of their birthdays, so... Awesome. Well, that's very cool. And you are doing a panel here this weekend as well, right?
Yeah, it's not really a panel. It's just like a workshop. It's just me presenting. I'm talking about creating magic systems, your own magic, how the magic works, basically. Okay. So it'll be a lot of fun.
And I'm going to try to actually record that panel or workshop, as you said. Hopefully that will work out. But can you give us a little glimpse into that while you're here?
Yeah, I mean, it's basically just talking about, like, there's different things you want to consider when you're creating a magic system if you're writing a book, because some magic systems are, very simple and very direct, and others are much more complex, where there's lots of rules, there's different layers to the magic and how things work. And as a writer, when you sit down to write a book, especially a fantasy novel, you need to decide, how do you want this to work? You need to make sure that it actually makes sense. That's very important for it to be logical and consistent in some way. Instead of just like you want something to happen and being like, oh, magic. You need to actually have like a reason for it to be magic and make sure it's consistent throughout the book and not just relying on it as a crutch, but making it actually a real like thing that's believable and consistent with your story.
So where do you start with yours when you're creating your magic systems?
It varies, actually. It depends on the character in the book and what I come up with first. So for Monstrous, in that series there, the first thing I came up with was this idea. It's about a girl, it's kind of like a Frankenstein meets Brothers Grimm. She's like reborn in the very beginning as this new creation with wings and a tail and claws. And the magic system there is a bit more complex than others that I've written, and it's a bit more broad. And that was kind of stemmed from there, was like I had this idea of what I wanted the magic to be able to create this girl. So there needed to be a different type of magic than I would in, say, this book. Whereas in this book, what I came up with for that was this whole image of this creepy girl who can play with the shadows and do that. So I knew it was going to be a different sort of magic where they had like a specific talent versus some kind of an energy form. So it's more of an energy form in Monstrous and Ravenous. Whereas it's more specific to different people. So there's very different rules in each of those. And also I have a Young Adult book that'll be coming out in 2020, a series starting, and that has a totally different magic system as well, where like they can only affect organic matter, and there's whole like the magic people who have magic, people who don't have the technology, and sort of like those two opposing forces are push and pull throughout the book.
Okay. Well, so when you're outlining for these books and getting your plot in your head, are you thinking about that magic system first, or is that something you develop as you write the book?
Usually I develop it as I write the book, but there are definitely times when I need to like take a step back and actually like plot out what I'm doing with the magic to make sure that like I'm not randomly breaking rules.
Okay.
But sometimes I kind of figure out what rules I'm going to need to break first, or sometimes I do the plot to figure out what it is I want it to do, and then I build the rules around that, and sometimes vice versa. It depends on how the idea comes to me, really.
Okay. Well, because I've heard a lot of different thoughts on that.
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
Do you make a dictionary of what you're an encyclopedia of magic before you start writing the book? That way you know, and that's almost a whole another book on its own. Just
absolutely.
Doing the research into that.
And I think, personally, I think it really depends on who you are as a writer and what works for you in your writing process. Because everybody's process is different. Like, there's no right way to write a book. It's whatever works for you. If you manage to get from page 1 to page whatever, and you have everything in between, that's great. Whatever works for you. You know, every opinion, like workshop like I'm doing, this is just an opinion. It's not, set in stone or anything like that. It's just one way of doing things.
So I take it that you're a plotter then?
Oh, I'm absolutely a plotter.
Okay.
I love to sit in my writing cave and figure out how to make things terrible for my characters. And then make them better, of course. But making them terrible is the most fun part. Okay.
Well, and I was always a pantser until just a few months ago, and I started, what's up, buddy? So our good friend Michael Thayer is a photographer here in town.
Video. Can I come over?
Yeah, come on over. Come give me a hug, big man.
All right.
How you been, buddy?
I haven't seen you in forever, man.
Oh, it's been a long time, buddy. It's been a long
before
time.
You moved. Hi, I'm his friend.
Nice to meet you.
I wondered if you were going to be here.
Yeah, of course. Oh, well, I'll track you down in a bit.
Yeah, I'll be around. Get the three.
Yeah,
Signed by
excellent.
the artist. He's a really good friend of mine.
Nice. Awesome.
Yeah. Mike on.
No, that's bad. See you, Mike. Oh, all right. So I was a plotter a pantser until very recently, when I was thinking that, okay, November's coming up. It's National Novel Writing Month. Sometimes I do it, sometimes I don't. This year I was like, I've got this really cool, creepy paranormal story that I want to write, but it's just got this enormous plot. And I was like, okay, I'm actually going to plot this out. And I had so much fun plotting it. I spent like 3 days on my computer just typing and making little boxes and arrows, and oh my gosh, it was the most fun I've had writing in a long time. And now that I've started writing, I am just breezing through it. I'm like, holy smokes, this actually works. And
yeah.
I'm sorry, Katie. Katie is our co-host in Las Vegas, and she is a pantser. She can't plot. I'm sorry, it's working. It actually does work. Just like iPhones and MacBook Pros. I keep telling you. But yeah, so I'm a recent convert into the plotter neighborhood.
If you're looking for help plotting, can I just give you 2 suggestions on things that can help you?
Yes.
The first is Save the Cat by Blake Snyder. There's a book. There's one that just came out recently just for novelists specifically. It's originally for film. There's things called beat sheets, where it gives you the 15 story beats and gives you little guidelines on like the type of thing that should be happening there and about how long you should spend in those chapters and those beats. That was like life-changing for me, because when I first started plotting, my first couple of books that never got published, and rightfully so, I had like huge meandering plots that kind of like went off on all these tangents that didn't really make sense.
Yeah.
And it's life-changing. It's fantastic. I highly recommend that.
Save the Cat.
Save the Cat beat sheets, BEAT sheets. You Google it. You can find like templates online in like different formats depending on how your brain works. It's so awesome. It's fantastic. And then secondly, have you ever tried writing with Scrivener?
I have not tried writing with Scrivener, no.
I love Scrivener. I call myself a Scrivener evangelist. I teach a workshop on it occasionally. I love it. It's like, it was also life-changing. There's 2 of those things, like,
what do you
reform
love about
my lighting right.
Scrivener?
So Scrivener, it's this program that it costs like $40, I think, or something. So it's not overly expensive, but it's an investment if you don't have a lot of money. And it's basically this program that will give you 3 different ways of viewing your book. It has all these different tools and ways to like organize your book. The main screen is the text format, and that has each chapter or scene or beat, depending on how you organize it, is its own little thing. So a little they call it scrivening. So it's basically like a little text file, but it's all in this one program. And you can move them around, you can drag and drop them. But when you do these, it has this little note card on the sidebar. You can put a little bit about what it's about and a little like to do or notes about the chapter. They have notes that are both overarching for the whole book.
Does it generate those themselves, or you add those into
you add in the notes, and you add in like a little blurb about what it's about, what's going to happen in this particular chapter. But the cool thing is that auto generates to other parts of the program, because there's also a cork board. So if you are more of a visually oriented person and you want to move around cards and stuff like that, you can do that. Because everything you write in the summary there feeds right to this.
Okay.
If you're more of an outliner like I am, there's also an outlining form, so that feeds into the outline. You can track your word count by each little chapter or overall. You can set like deadlines for yourself. There's ways to track keywords. There's a name generator inherent in it, which is awesome. There's just so many. I could wax poetic about this for like 3 hours, literally.
Well, and you said you teach a class on this?
I do, yeah. I teach a workshop. I have one version that's like an entire day and one that's like a 2-hour workshop.
No kidding.
I cannot recommend it enough. It is hugely wonderful and great for pantsers or plotters. People who like visually learn or don't. It has a little something for everybody. A lot of people find it really overwhelming at first because it's a lot to absorb. And a lot of people will tell me that like, oh, I don't use Scrivener well enough, and that's not true. It's in there so that you can customize this to your own process, which is the best thing about it. You don't have to use everything. I don't know anybody who uses Scrivener and uses every feature. Like you customize it to the way that you work and your brain works, and that's the most beautiful thing about it. So,
well, I might have to drop you an email about Scrivener then, because of course I've heard of Scrivener, but I always use Microsoft Word. That's just what I do.
And I used to do that too. And actually, my first couple of books, I would be saving every chapter as its own file because I wanted to do what Scrivener did, but I didn't know Scrivener existed until later.
So you can actually move those chapters around then later?
Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing. Feel free to drop me a line. I would be happy to chat more about it.
I will have to.
Instead of taking up this whole thing.
Yeah. All right. Well, I like that. You've got my interest going. All right. So we are going to do something called a lightning round.
Oh boy.
This is actually my first convention doing this. So
really?
It should be interesting here. Basically, what's going to happen is I'm going to ask you a question, and you answer as quickly as you can with whatever pops into your head.
Okay.
So yes. All right. First question.
Okay.
Most embarrassing thing that's happened to you at a convention?
I haven't been to enough of them to have an embarrassing thing happen, actually.
Okay. Oh, we'll take that as an answer.
Sorry.
We'll take it. Pineapple on pizza, yes or no?
Yes. I do like pineapple on pizza. Sorry.
Backstreet Boys or NSYNC?
Oh gosh. Neither. Are you kidding?
That's a good answer. I like that. What about Justin Timberlake?
I can take him or leave him.
Okay. I mean, he's pretty. He's a very pretty guy.
He's pretty, but
All right, we're 0 for 3 right now in these questions here.
Sorry.
All right, Marvel or DC?
Marvel.
Okay, good. Okay, we're back. We're going back in the right direction here. You find a rat in your room. What do you do?
I leave the room.
Are you freaking out and screaming, or are you okay?
I may not be. I'm more internally screaming and then leaving as fast as I can.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, Abigail would be screaming. She's a screamer. You find a rat, you'd be screaming, right?
It depends. Like if it jumped on me, yes, I would be screaming. If it ran over my foot, I would probably scream. If I happen to see it, I might be like, oh, let's go. It just depends.
Okay. All right, we'll take it. All right. TARDIS or vortex manipulator?
TARDIS.
Good answer. What day is it?
Oh God. Thursday? No, it's Friday.
No, it's not Thursday.
I got that wrong.
I knew it. That's why that question's
this
in
is
there.
what traveling does to you. I feel like it's still Thursday. It's Friday.
Best movie you've seen this last year?
Haven't seen as many movies as I would have liked. So just 2018?
Whatever.
I'm trying to think.
Best last good movie you've seen? This is stumping you. This was an easy one.
I've seen several good movies. I haven't seen that many. So they've all been equally good. That's the problem. Like the last 3 Marvel movies, we had to catch up on that. So like Black Panther, Thor, and the Avengers one. Those were all great.
They were all amazing.
Didn't the Star Wars movie just come out last year too?
Yeah.
That was amazing as well.
Yeah.
So
The Last Jedi?
Yeah, that's like, I had a toddler now, so like time is like just very strange at the moment. But those 4 are like a really good tie. I can't choose between them. They're all very good.
All right, Marvel movies and
Star Wars.
Star Wars. Okay, I'll take it.
Okay.
I'll take it. Well, that brings me to the next question. Star Wars or Star Trek?
Star Wars. I love Star Trek as well, but Star Wars is...
I have to agree with you.
Yeah.
I love
just a little
I
more.
love both, but yeah, Star Wars, I don't know. I just like the movies. They're a little cool.
Yeah.
Okay. So, books or movies?
I mean, books are my first love, but I love a good movie. However, I have not read many books or seen many movies this past year, but normally I read a lot more books than I see movies. So
Okay.
it's hard, they're two different formats. It's hard to choose between them.
It is
you
tough.
know?
It is tough.
Yeah. If I'm choosing about like a book made into a movie, probably book.
Okay.
Most likely book.
Favorite author?
That's such a hard one. That is
know
the
it
worst
is.
one.
I know it is. We'll go with favorite author of the last 5 years. How about that?
That's even worse.
Well, my favorite authors growing up are different than my favorite authors now.
I know. So I think my favorite author that like pretty consistently been in the top few since I was in like high school onward would be Antoine Saint-Exupéry, The Little Prince.
Okay.
Like that book just really holds up so well over and over and over. So it's probably my favorite book of all time is probably that one. But I love so many other books. There's so many good authors. It's so hard to choose.
Yeah.
So.
Well, what genre do you read? I mean, you write fantasy. What do you read?
I mainly read fantasy and sci-fi, but like depending on my mood, I might read like a cute like little contemporary romance or something. But mostly it's fantasy and sci-fi is like that's my favorite. I do like a good thriller. Those are always good too.
Well, I like thrillers. I write thrillers. Have you read Victoria Schwab?
I have some of her books. I haven't had a chance to read them yet.
Good.
Mine to be read pile.
I understand.
Frightening,
Mine too.
actually.
People keep sending me books. They keep coming in the mail. I'm like, dude, it's like maybe in 5 years.
I know.
But seriously, any of
I've
Schwab's
heard
books?
she's so amazing. So and seems like such a lovely person too.
Yes, she is. They are just they're mind blowing. They're so
Yeah,
good.
I know they're high on my list. They are very high on my list.
Okay. All right. Good.
I own
good.
some of them. I just actually find the time to read them. I've read 4 books in the past year. It's pitiful.
Well,
It's very pitiful.
I've read 4 books maybe this year, so I mean I'm not too much better.
Yeah, I used to read 50 to 100. So
Okay,
going down to 4.
that's bad. That is bad.
It's the toddler.
Yeah, I understand.
I can't help.
I understand. All right, just a couple more here.
Okay.
Cutest dog.
Pug. I have a grumble of pugs.
Oh yes,
no
sister.
contest.
I do too.
Yes.
Yes.
Awesome.
Grumble on. All right. Do you like puppy breath?
Puppy breath? How can you not? I mean, it's gross, but it's also so cute at the same time.
You see, and I feel the same way. And my wife, it is. She doesn't like it. Abby doesn't like puppy breath.
It's so gross, but it's just so cute.
Because it smells like a skunk. But
It
you just keep smelling it, and then it becomes cute and endearing, and I don't
And
know
it's
why.
being delivered in a cute way usually too. That's
I guess that's true. If you
It's the
stick a
delivery.
bad smell in a cute
yeah,
body.
it has to be in context. Like if it was just puppy breath and no puppy attached to it, that would just be disgusting.
Yes. Well, and I'm
But,
trying to
you
think
know.
of other things that would work for. I was like, like poop. If you put poop in a cute package, would it smell good? Well, then I'm
No.
thinking of changing diapers, and I'm like, no, it's never cute.
No, puppy breath is different though.
All right, ebooks or paperbacks?
I'll usually buy the paper copy, but I do read ebooks on my e-reader. I take them up from the library a lot, so I
Okay.
like both. But I like to own the hardcovers and the paperbacks just to like have them. So
I collect hardbacks and paperbacks from authors that I know and that are signed.
Yeah.
That's what I've limited myself to. If it's signed, it goes on the bookshelf. If it's not, I'll get it as an ebook.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right. So one more on
Okay.
our speed round: David Tennant or Matt Smith?
David Tennant. I love Matt Smith too, but David Tennant was the best.
Well, I started with Matt, so he
Oh.
kind of is forever
Well,
my
that's
doctor.
cheating.
But I do. Well, I have something
I
against.
started with that guy who was there for only a year. I forget his name.
Oh yeah. Oh,
9.
what was that guy's name? Yeah,
I
the
don't remember
angry
his name.
guy.
He was very angry, but also like oddly not at the same. It was very strange.
Yes,
But,
yes.
Yeah. But David
Well,
Tennant was right after that. and he was
David
just
Tennant
amazing.
is awesome, but I first saw David Tennant in Harry Potter, where he was the bad guy,
Yeah.
Barty Crouch Jr. And so when I see him on Doctor Who, I'm like, oh, I'm automatically stay away. You're bad.
That's funny.
But no.
Have you seen him in what's the name of the? He was in another series that was so good. Broadchurch.
Broadchurch?
I think it's
Is
Broadchurch.
it a BBC?
It was a
series?
BBC thing. There was one in a BBC version and then a US version for one season. I'm pretty sure it was Broadchurch was the
Okay.
BBC version. They did like 3 seasons. So good. It was like a thriller of this like small
Okay.
town and
I'll check it
murder
out.
mystery. It's really good.
I'd love
Really
to see
good.
him in a thriller. That'd be
Yeah.
awesome. Wow, look at that guy's pin shirt, button
That's
shirt.
amazing.
That is amazing. Oh. All right, well, that's about all that I have for you as far as questions go.
Awesome.
Thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
taking the
It was
time to
lovely
meet
to
with
meet
us. Yes.